What is the Codex Sinaiticus? This is very important text. It was writings that was found in the trash in a Catholic monastery at Mount Sinai. That is what the Codex Sinaiticus is. Here is a quote here. So the Codex Sinaiticus was discovered in 1844. That's pretty recently. I mean, it's just crazy to think like, oh man, the Word of God was hidden until 1844. Not that long ago. It was found by a man named Konstantin von Tischendorf. This is a German guy at St. Catherine's Monastery. He said this: in visiting the library of the monastery in the month of May of 1844, I perceived in the middle of the great hall a large and wide basket full of old parchments. So this is the guy that discovered the Codex Sinaiticus. He says, and the librarian, who was a man of information, told me that 2 heaps of paper like this, moldered by time, had already been committed to the flames. So you've got these heaps, these piles of trash that have been moldered by time, and the librarian saying, oh yeah, a bunch of things like this, we've already burned them, we've already disposed of them, this is trash. It says, what was my surprise to find amid this heap of papers a considerable number of sheets of a copy of the Old Testament in Greek, which we know the Old Testament was written in Hebrew. He's getting all excited about this Greek copy of the Old Testament, which seemed to me to be one of the most ancient that I had ever seen. The authorities of the convent allowed me to possess myself of a third of these parchments, or about 45 sheets, all the more readily as they were destined for the fire. So Konstantin von Tischendorf, he says these were ready to be burned and thrown in the fire. According to him, the librarian who was in charge, who was the custodian of these parchments, he said this stuff was trash and it was going to be committed to the fire. Now, realize all of the modern versions today, your NIV, your ESV, your NASB, all of them, they hang their hat on the Codex Sinaiticus that, according to the guy who found it, said it was going to be thrown in the trash. That is where they are putting their faith and confidence today, literally in documents that were to be thrown away. Now, why were they to be thrown away? Because they were inauthentic. Because they were trash. See, the Textus Receptus, it's this wide collection of printed Greek manuscripts of the New Testament that can be like, hey, everyone's been using these. Christians have been using them. They've been being passed down from generation to generation. Doesn't that match the doctrine of preservation? God said he's going to preserve his word from this generation forever. Then there's all these documents that's being passed down, used. But no, we're supposed to reject that, and we're supposed to believe that these parchments found in a trash can in a Catholic monastery is actually the word of God, and they have the audacity to laugh at us for being King James onlyists.